This morning. We are having a session on health insurance options for seniors. And at the back of our minds, we hope to have peace of mind in our golden years when we take on an insurance. Yeah. Purposeful Aging team is very happy to have you coming in on early. And I bring you greetings from the team. Many of the team members are unable to join us this morning, but we have a good package for you. Don't worry about that. In a special way, we want to welcome Dr. Jane Kayonga. She's going to stand in for Dr. Philippa Makanga. And Martha and Dr. Javira might join us, but at a later stage. Otherwise, good morning, team. Happy to have you, especially Tina, who is still enjoying the night. As usual, just get on with the housekeeping so that when we start our session, we don't get interrupted by housekeeping details. Yeah, I'd like all of you to remember our sessions are interactive. So please feel free to raise your hand, your virtual hand, and contribute. The sessions are to help you on your journey of aging with intention and have the appropriate care while at home, and more so to help those who give the care to do so at their best. We want you to engage the team. So if you have any questions, any clarifications you may want to share, please use the chat room and note them down. Also, if we want to, if you are going to have a smooth session, kindly keep your mic muted. As long as you're not the one contributing, just remember to mute your mic. We'll get our guest speaker contribute for 45 minutes, and then we shall have a question and answer session before we finally close off. As I've said, our topic this morning is health insurance options for seniors, peace of mind in our golden time years. Why did we choose health insurance? I'll just give a few remarks. Health insurance plays a crucial role in the lives of people over 60 years, especially those who are not in formal employment. This morning, we are going to explore options which are available to us in our golden years, options which put the older adult's mind at peace. Purposeful Aging team is privileged to have Miss Angela Wanyana as our guest speaker. Sorry about the name. And Angela is an insurance advisor working with Jubilee Insurance here in Kampala. Angela, good morning. You're most welcome to Purposeful Aging. I'll give you your floor soon. I see you logged on, so that's okay with us. And I would like to draw your attention to the rest of the adults and caregivers online. We do have older adults, those are people above 60 years. And we always have dedicated caregivers. They may not, their names may not show online, but they are always there because they are usually beside the older adult. They do give care to older adults on a 24-hour basis. So they really know much about the caregiver, the older adults, sorry. And we do have many participants below 60 years who are determined to age with intention. They graciously take care of us, the older adults, as well as their own families. And to many Ugandans, health insurance is largely unknown. It is seen as a preserve of the rich, the political elite, and maybe foreigners. I'm sure many of you have interesting stories or of your encounter with health insurance providers. I'm sure we shall hear about them later on in our Q&A session. So making a good health insurance option will therefore give many the much needed peace of mind. At the end of this talk, we shall be equipped with the relevant information to enable us choose to stay with the traditional informal insurance of having many children who are expected to take care of us, of our needs as we age, or take on the formal, manageable, dependable health insurance. And at this juncture, I would like to invite Angela Wanyana and colleague. Angela will introduce the colleague in his capacities. Both of you are very welcome to share with us. And the floor is yours for the next 45 minutes. Angela, you're most welcome. Please unmute and share with us.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm glad to be on this forum, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to present to you. I work for Jubilee Health Insurance, and I've been in the field for quite a long time, like 10 years. And we are going to present to you with my colleague. I call him consultant because he's the one who groomed me, and he's called Charles Dickens Massey. Yeah, all of you, we are glad to be part of this session, and it will be an interactive session. Feel free to talk with us. So I have challenges with my laptop, and that's why I call him my boss because he's the one who groomed me. We will be presenting together.
You're welcome, Angela and colleague.
And we are going to do a PowerPoint, and he's going to present to you the slides as we discuss. So I would like to invite Charles, and then we begin off the session.
Wow. All right. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I'm assuming that I'm the only gentleman on this forum today. It's so exciting.
No. You are one of them.
All right, that's really, really nice. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Angela Wanyana. Okay, that's so touching. I didn't know You're my colleague. I'm not your boss. Okay. Wow, it's so interesting speaking to the elderly on this Saturday morning. I'm so excited to be here to discuss health insurance for the seniors. My name is Charles Dickens Masiga. I'm a consultant, financial fitness coach, a sales consultant. I am very passionate about insurance, finance, business development, and marketing. Today, we are going to be discussing health insurance for the senior members. I like referring to you as the seniors, the senior citizens of this country. It's really, really exciting. It's a discussion that has not been in so many people's forums. I'm going to request that I start off. So in our discussion, all right, thank you. So I'm going to keep it really short because 40 minutes is not quite long. I've agreed with Angela that because of the timing, we are interested in hearing more from your side. So I'm going to just run us through the slides, and then we allow the team to ask as many questions as you can so that we are able to, okay, align with each other. Okay. So this is a table of content. We'll just briefly talk about an executive summary. We'll be discussing what health insurance is all about. And then, of course, we'll look at the different benefits. And then who are the current service providers of health insurance in Uganda? And then we will deep dive into the just senior medical insurance cover that has been provided by Jubilee Health Insurance. So I just drafted this table content basing on the needs that the email that was sent to us by Doctor. So if anything is out of this, please just jot it down. We'll be able to respond as we go on. So just in a brief, I just didn't get the name. One of the seniors talked about many companies not taking up the risk of the older persons, which is very true. Yes, most insurance companies, they disassociate themselves with this kind of risk. But we are glad to inform you that with the Jubilee Health Insurance Company of Uganda introduced a product called the Just Senior on the market. This is not so long ago, it's about 2 years ago, whereby we cover specifically the senior members and who are aged between 60 and 80 years. So majority of the insurance companies don't go beyond this. They aid at about 60, 65, max 60, 65. So today we are going to be looking at the Just Senior mostly, and then we explore how best we can understand more about it. So in Uganda, we have about 15 service providers who are into health insurance, as you can see. Now, there's a difference between a health insurance service provider and then a health membership organization. The others are insurance companies. They underwrite the health business. However, the membership organizations are also organizations that provide medical schemes. Let me just call them schemes. They are not as big as the insurance companies. So in terms of capitalization, in terms of what they're able to give or limit of liabilities is a bit lower than less compared to the insurance companies. So this information is available on IRA. You could just check it out. It's very important that as elders, we look out for the different options. Most of these are very good insurance companies, but specifically, I want to dwell so much to Jubilee because Jubilee Health is specifically, it is the only insurance company that is specifically handling health insurance. You will not find anything else apart from health insurance. The others, health insurance is just a department within the company. It's just a department within the company. All right. What is health insurance? So health insurance, usually we talk about it as medical insurance, but medical insurance is basically the provision of medical and surgical expenses by the insured member as a result of sustaining bodily, accidental illness or disease. Now, you must be insured for you to enjoy medical insurance services. You must be insured. So we only take care of people who have been insured. So we take care of the medical or surgical expenses that this person would have incurred. So what are some of the benefits? Very good question. This is something that many people don't know about. Number one, it guarantees you peace of mind. Having a medical insurance cover 100% guarantees you peace of mind. Whenever an emergency comes through, whenever you fall sick, whenever anything that happens. Just imagine if you had the card and you fell sick. All you need to do is to walk into the next service provider and the hospital that offers the services, and you present your card and you are treated, regardless of whether you have money or not. So in terms of peace of mind, you don't have to disturb anyone. You don't have to worry about anything. All you need to do is to find the nearest hospital and you get the services. So number two, it protects you and the families on your financial situations. Now, many times, families have lost out on properties just because of health or medical expenses. You find they're selling land to take care of the patients. They are borrowing money to take care of their patients. They are doing rounds, okuisa kabo in simple terms. Sorry, I'll patch in a little bit of Uganda so that for more emphasis. Okuisa kabo, so that they are able to take care of these patients. But if you buy a cover from any of these insurance companies that is providing it, you will protect your properties, you will protect your financial situations within the families. Number three, it gives you as a policyholder control of your treatment. Many times when people fall sick, they are limited in terms of treatment. I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day. If you got an emergency right now in town, or if you got an accident, where would you get treatment at the earliest? And majority of them were saying, of course, we'll go to Mlago, we'll go to Chirudu, we'll go to Kawempe and all that. While those with medical cards will be running to the nearest clinic, IMC, AAR, all these other clinics that are on cover. And these clinics are giving better services than even some of these government hospitals that we're running to. Now, there is what we call health insurance and self-insurance. Most people in Uganda, based on the survey that we did with IRA, we realized that 95% of the people in Uganda practice what we call self-insurance. With the insurance penetration in Uganda is quite low, we are still struggling to make it to even 2%. Just imagine 2% of the population is what has been covered in terms of insurance. So 95% of the population in Uganda practice what we call self-insurance. They put aside a certain amount of money to take care of their health or medical expenses. And yet, if you had actually bought a health insurance cover, it would be far much better. Why? Because of the limits of liabilities that are within that cover. For instance, I'll give an example. If you annually said, I am going to put aside 2 million shillings to take care of my health issues, vis-a-vis, as opposed to buying a cover of 2 million shillings. A cover of 2 million shillings can give you a limit of liability of up to 20 to 30 million shillings. So when you get an emergency, you realize that your self-insurance may not even be able to cover you, depending on what emergency you would have gotten. Then lastly, it guarantees you quick access to treatment. Of course, this I've talked about it. It's not any different from the number 3, but for quick access to treatment, as long as you have the card, you are able to get treatment in any of this of the hospitals within the network. All right, let's proceed. So we will
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes,
Dickens.
Yes,
Do
doctor.
you
Yes,
want,
doctor.
would you like to go over the last slide, number 2, and now I can, number 2, protect your family financial situation, and the last but one, self-insurance. Just can you kindly go a little slower in explaining these
All
two?
right. Okay, thanks, doctor. The first one, I'd say protecting you and your family's financial situation. I say that most times, many times, when our elders fall sick, we end up selling property to take care of them. We have you'll find that the little property that you have gained over time will only have to protect you at the time when you fall sick. So when you fall sick, we will sell that property. If it's a car, we'll sell the car so that we can take you to hospital, because we don't have the money. Or we will borrow money. Remember, this is financial situation in families. You're borrowing money to take care of our sick person. This, once you buy a cover, ceases. Once you buy a health insurance cover, that that ceases. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to borrow money. You don't have to go around in collecting money to ensure that we are taking care of the sick. And then I said that self-insurance versus health insurance, many times people in Uganda practice what we call self-insurance. Self-insurance is you putting aside a certain amount of money that is going to take care of your medical expenses. Doctor,
Yes.
I'm sure in terms of planning, you have a certain amount of money that you have put aside within a year that is going to take care of you. Say now for me, 5 million shillings, you will be able to take care of me for the rest of this year in terms of medical expenses. But it cannot be enough when you get a major issue. For instance, if you got an accident and it requires a surgery that is going to take about 20 million, that 5 million will not be enough. That's why we say, instead of you putting aside 5 million, you buy a health cover that is going to cover you for a whole year. If that 5 million can give you a cover of up to, let's say, 150 million on an inpatient cover, that is far much better than having the 5 million shillings put aside for this medical expense. Am I clear on that, doctor?
Yes, you're clear, but I hope later on you'll explain or you'll get into the details of health insurance.
All right. I will do that. All right. Let me proceed. Like I said, today specifically, we'll be looking at the just senior health cover for our senior citizens. So I'm going to start with a few definitions so that we are at par with those who may not understand some of the jargons. You know, with insurance, we speak a lot in terms of jargons, in terms of so it's easier for us to first of all understand some of the definitions. So what is covered, what is so that we can understand it well. So like I said, number one is eligibility. I said with this senior citizen cover, it starts from 60 to 80. All right. So any senior citizen who is 60 and above, you qualify. Anyone below 60, we can't give you this cover. We can only give you another cover that is called a JCare. Then there's what we call, under medical insurance, there's what we call inpatient cover. Now, inpatient cover is basically being admitted. Now, you realize that when you're buying a medical cover, we give you benefits basing on these covers: the inpatient cover, the outpatient cover, dental, optical, maternity, like that. So as we will see ahead. So inpatient cover is basically you go to hospital and you require a bed to be admitted. That's what inpatient cover is all about. And it is the core cover when it comes to medical insurance. Now, we also have what we call outpatient. Outpatient is basically treatment that doesn't require hospitalization. And it is also the second cover that we give on medical insurance. We have what we call the dental and optical cover. The dental cover, of course, it provides for medical surgical expenses that require teeth, filling, x-rays, extraction, anything to do with the teeth. That is what dental cover is all about. And then also we have what we call the optical cover. This is to do with our eyes, anything to do with the eyes, buying glasses, testing, anything to do with the eyes. This is what we call the optical cover. Now, on this medical cover of Yesenia, there is what we call a co-payment. A co-payment is usually a payment that we share between the client and the company, and it is usually on the consultation fee. Usually on the consultation fee. So as we move ahead, I will be also talking about co-payments. So for you to understand it a little bit better, just put it in mind that it is a payment that you share between you and the company, but specifically on the consultation. You know, medical insurance is very, very expensive, especially when it comes to consultations of the specialists. They are quite expensive, so we intend to usually share the cost of their consultation. If it's 100, you find that you're paying probably like 30,000, and then the company pays 70,000. But I'll explain it a little more ahead as we move on. Then there's what we call a waiting period. In medical, in the medical world, or in the insurance world, medical insurance world, yes, there is what we call a waiting period. Now, a waiting period is a period from the commencement date within which you cannot access the benefits unless if it is an accidental or an emergency. So if it is a natural illness, usually now, for instance, for this specific cover, a natural illness, you'll have to give at least 30 days, okay, on any illness, natural illness. But if it's accidental related, there is no waiting period. Then we also have what we call the pre-existing. Pre-existing are usually the conditions that we have prior to buying of the cover. So we do understand that with this age category, majority of the people actually not well. Of course, their health really is declining. So we expect it, but we request that you give us at least 6 months waiting period before you start taking up treatment on these specific illnesses. As this usually is done in the first year, but in the second year at renewal, there are no waiting periods on the pre-existing, chronic, congenital conditions, newly diagnosed illnesses, and the like. Now, for cancer treatment, its waiting period is 2 years. It's very, very, very important for us to mention this in our presentations so that you are aware and you are not caught off guard. Organ transplant, 2 years waiting period. Psychiatric conditions under inpatient, it is 6 months waiting period. HIV, AIDS, and related conditions, 6 months waiting period. Gynecology and prostate surgery, especially for the men, it is 2 years waiting period. Now, let me just briefly explain to you about the benefits and what could be the financial implication. Doctor, this is where I'm also going to bring in the insurance and then the health insurance. Now, the first table talks about the benefits or the limit of coverage. Now, remember I talked about inpatient, outpatient, dental, optical. These are, we give benefits basing on these different covers. Now, we have 4 packages. We have the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the diamond. So the bronze is the first package, depending on your budget as an individual, as a family, whatever the family has budgeted for you, health insurance. This is the first package we can give. Its inpatient cover is up to 2 million. Its outpatient cover is 2.5. The dental is 300. The optical is 300. And then we've included a last expense of 1.5 million shillings. Just give me a minute.
Yes.
All right, sorry. In terms of health insurance, if you are to buy the bronze package, it will cost you a 2.5 million shillings, as indicated there. Now, you'll find that someone is keeping aside the 2.5 million shillings on self-insurance to take care of them for the whole year. And then there is doctor who has bought a cover worth a 2.5 million shillings, and she's been given a benefits and limit of liabilities of up to 20 million on inpatient cover. That means if she falls sick and she's hospitalized, she has up to 20 million to blow. Okay, not to blow, but of course to take care of her. And then she has an outpatient of 2.5 million shillings whenever she goes to hospital, but she doesn't require an admission. So that is the difference between a self-insurance and a health insurance. Someone who has bought cover is given a much bigger limit of liability when it comes to treatment than a person who is just putting aside 2.5 million shillings. Yes, is that a question?
Somebody
Okay.
had unmuted.
All right, let me continue. Then the silver, for us, if you buy a silver, we will give you an inpatient cover of up to 50 million shillings, an outpatient cover of up to 3.5 million shillings, a dental cover of up to 600, an optical cover of up to 600, and of course, a last expense of 1.5. But how much are you paying? You're only paying 3.1 million shillings. That is how the medical insurance works. The money, the financial implication, the money you're paying is called a premium. So the premium you pay is usually less than the actual benefits that you receive from the company. So basing on your budget, you can choose within the 4 packages that I have just displayed. All right.
Just a minute, Mr. Dickens. Would you like to tie that up with the waiting period?
I'm going to explain the waiting period in the next slide.
Okay.
I'm going to explain it in detail. What is where does the waiting period apply on what treatment, on what disease, and all that? And it's what I'm going to next.
Okay.
Is it okay? All right, thanks.
Let's go.
All right. So I'm going to start with the plan summary. Now, I want us to really pay attention here because these are the details that I've been talking about, especially when it comes to the waiting periods. I'm starting with the inpatient cover, which is the core cover for this plan. Now, I'm going to explain the bronze, and then I explain the different coverages under the bronze on the different diseases. And then you can just, of course, look at the other packages, how far they can be covered up to. So the pre-existing chronic congenital conditions, existing or not existing and not diagnosed at the time of joining, they are subject to, first of all, disclosure and a 6 months waiting period. So for instance, if you have, let's say, diabetes, which is, of course, the most common disease amongst us, the elders, it means you will have to give us at least 6 months waiting period, okay? And then we will cover that particular disease up to 7 million shillings. It means if you're to pick drugs, if you're to get any treatment on that particular disease, we will cover you up to 7 million shillings. But remember, your inpatient cover is still up to 20 million shillings. Cancer treatment, 2 years waiting period, we can only cover it up to 7 million shillings also. Organ transplant, 2 years waiting period, we can only cover it up to 8 million shillings. So that is for bronze. You just look at the other packages and you also see which up to which limit of cover they can give you. Psychiatric conditions have a 6 months waiting period, still under inpatient, but up to 3 million shillings cover. HIV, AIDS, and related conditions, 6 months waiting period, but they don't have a sublimit under the inpatient cover. It is covered up to 20 million. The beds, if you buy a bronze, you only per night. Yes, doctor.
I'm listening.
All right,
you
all
can
right.
go
So
on.
all right. So if you buy a bronze, your hospital bed limit per night is up to 200. So if, for instance, you went to Nakasero and you have a bronze, of course you have been admitted, but you have a bronze, we can only pay up to 200,000 for a bed. So if you go to a room where they're charging about 350, it means you may have to top up the 150. Okay, that's what it means. So if you buy silver, you have up to 300. If you buy a gold, you have up to 400. If you buy diamond, you have up to 600. So newly diagnosed chronic conditions covered within inpatient limit for the first year of diagnosis are subjected to a pre-existing condition sublimit in the second year. What does this mean? If doctor, you bought the cover today and we've done a pre-examination and you're okay, there's nothing wrong with you. And then later on, you go to hospital and you're diagnosed with, let's say, diabetes. In the first year, we will cover you up to the maximum limit of 20 million in under inpatient. But in the next year, it becomes a pre-existing, so it falls back to the sublimit under pre-existing of 7 million shillings. That's what that statement means. Non-accident related maxillofacial surgery, including, of course, routine dental surgery and all that, it has a 6 months waiting period, but we've also limited it to 4 million shillings under bronze. Okay. Internal and external surgical implants. Of course, these also include prostheses, dental fixtures, and also including a wheelchair. We cover up to a maximum of 500, but it is covered within the inpatient limit without a sublimit. Illness-related reconstructive stroke plastic surgery. Now, plastic surgery, we are a bit slow on it. We really go slow on it. We give it a 3 years waiting period, and we only limit ourselves to 6 million shillings for any plastic surgery related conditions. Inpatient non-accident related dental surgery has 6 months waiting period, and we cover up to 2.5 for bronze, 3.5 for silver, gold is also 3.5, and the rest. Psychiatry and psychotherapy, we cover it up to 5 million shillings. Gynecological and prostate surgery, it has a 3 years waiting period, and it has a sublimit of 7 million shillings. inpatient non-accident related eye treatment has a 6 months waiting period, okay? And it is covered up to 2.5. This means that if you had an issue with the eye, these non-accident related conditions, usually if you find a person buys the cover, but they have an issue of the eye and they need to do probably surgery on it. So we ask that instead of being a target buyer, you give us 6 months waiting period and we will do that surgery up to a tune of 2.5. That's what that statement means. Now, within this cover, there is also what we call a post-hospitalization treatment, where a person has only bought an inpatient cover. You know, with this product, you can decide to buy only an inpatient cover. Now, in case you don't have outpatient, you have up to 400,000 within 3 weeks of discharge. Now, what this means is that whenever you are discharged and you need to be reviewed, because you don't have an outpatient cover, we will still charge that treatment or that review under inpatient, but it is covered up to 400 within 3 weeks of discharge for bronze, 800 within 3 weeks of discharge for silver, 900 for gold and the other. So there is also the local road ambulance to the hospital for emergency cases. This is covered, but it is we only cover licensed ambulances. We are challenged a little bit lately. Okay, most insurance companies are challenged because of this. You find that people use their own cars for emergency cases to hospital and they want the insurance company to pay. So we only cover licensed ambulances that are given to you from the hospital. Then there is commercial air evacuation out of Uganda. Somebody asked me about this. Now, this, of course, has a pre-authorization. We also take our patients out of the country for treatment. However, we are only limiting it to the gold and the diamond patients because of the nature of the costs involved. We have only limited it to diamond and gold. Usually, those two are able to manage the cost. One trip on bronze can blow up all the money that we have actually put on your card. So it is limited to gold and only economic return fare only within Africa, India, and Pakistan. That is for gold and diamond. Now, we have also included a COVID-19 related treatment for this senior cover. Most covers do not have this. Now, in case you have any COVID-19 related treatment, you have up to 5 million for any bronze client. You have up to 7 million for any silver client, 8 million for any gold, and 9 million for diamond. Now, of course, like any other client of ours, we include a last expense cover on all our packages, as you can see there. Usually these are given to the family members just to support them in terms of the barriers and everything. This product also comes with a political violence cover. Usually it's not covered in most of the medical insurances, but we extend it to the seniors because we expect them to be politically exposed. Of course, people are politically exposed, some are publicly exposed. Most times, this is not covered, especially for the other covers. So, as I come to conclusion on these, there's the outpatient cover. Like I said earlier on, outpatient is just the opposite of inpatient. And these are the limits of liabilities that we give under outpatient. And usually most of the times, everything is covered under outpatient because it's your money at the end of the day. For bronze, it's 2.5. silver is 3.5, and the others like that. Everything is covered in here. However, still the waiting periods still apply also on the outpatient as indicated there. We've also included an annual checkup for our senior citizens. Usually, you'll find that some clients end up not using their cards because, thank God, God has been good on their side. Probably they've taken care of themselves well, and they have not fallen sick within that within the specified year. But we ask them at least do an annual checkup. Please go to hospital and spend some 400 for those who are on bronze. Spend some 600 for those who are on silver. At least let them check you, analysis, and anything. Do something. Just do an annual checkup, because we don't want to be caught by surprises. Sometimes these diseases don't show themselves until when it's too late. Then we also have the routine dental and optical. These usually work hand in hand. For the dental, we cover the consultations, we cover the extractions, the filling, dental x-rays, and then of course the prescriptions. Same as the optical, we look at the frames and the prescriptions, the lenses, the frames, and of course this is within the 2 years. Just quickly looking at of course, the conditions, which are not any different from what I've been discussing. I talked about the general waiting period of 30 days for any new entrant, apart from accidental covers. Then, of course, for any scans, we usually ask for a pre-authorization from the hospital before any scan is done. For any, I've talked about the cancer treatment, 2 years waiting period. I've talked about the pre-existing. Eligibility, I've talked about it. Just a minute. Most importantly, what I want to talk about here is that for any of our clients who want to visit the hospitals below, Nakasero, IHK, Case Hospital, Platinum, they need to tag along with the 30,000 shillings for any visit to these hospitals. But in case you don't want the inconvenience of tagging along with the 30,000 each time you go to the hospital, then we need to increase your premium, your inpatient and outpatient premium, by 10%. Okay? All right. Doctor, you were not mute. All right. Just to continue, of course, we do not cover everything under medical insurance. Please, 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 I want us to be very clear on this. Not everything is covered. Not everything is covered under medical. We do not cover the following. Of course, most of these are if they're not within the specified waiting period, they will not be covered. For instance, the pre-existing, you must wait at least 6 months. Any treatment on HIV, 6 months. Any treatment on cancer, of course, we talked about 2 years. Sexually transmitted diseases, except HIV. Self-referred or self-prescribed treatments are not allowed. We don't deal with nutritional food supplements. This is a big issue across. Most people don't want to eat food, but they just want to take medicine, which is really, really, really not good. Pain management, with all its costs, it's not covered. Expenses recovered under any other insurance or national health insurance scheme, we do not. We don't really cover people in the military, Air Force operations, who are in the Army. Usually the Army takes care of their people. We do not cover people who participate in riots, strikes, civil commotion, stuff like that. Cost of donating an organ or incurred while locating a replacement organ, usually for some seniors who want to do organ transplant. We don't cover the costs for donating or locating the person who is going to donate the organ to you. We don't deal with alternative treatment such as herbal medicine. We don't deal with herbal medicine. We deal with modern medicine. Cosmetic reconstructive rehabilitation, unless otherwise it is as a result of an accident, yes, but if it's not as a result of an accident, we don't cover it. Treatment of learning and hearing difficulties, this is also usually not covered unless if it's as a result of an accident. Epidemics, pandemics, or these other known diseases, usually they are covered by the confinement of the government. We don't cover them. Please don't get Ebola and then you want to run to hospital because you have a card. That one you will not allow it. So it's not covered. Treatment other than registered practitioner, we only have a service providers list. We do share with our clients. And it is only these hospitals on this list that you can seek treatment from. And the good thing is that they are very good hospitals. They are high-end hospitals. Beauty treatment or massage in nature clinics, no. Any claim from a member whose application medical misrepresentation, no. Okay. I've talked about psychiatry, 6 months waiting period. People who stay in sanatoriums. Now, I'm sure you're going to ask me old age homes, places of rest. If I think, Doctor, you'll have to help me there. The people who stay at sanatorium and old age homes. Usually, some of these are already, what can I call it? What can I say? They are already, taken care of in terms of medical treatment and all that. Services primarily for waste reduction and treatment of obesity. No, we don't. We don't, of course, handle contraceptive services, family planning, supplies and fertility. We don't. Intentional self-injury, while sane or insane, suicide attempt, no. Photochromatic lenses, these are very, very expensive. Of course, we have the lenses that we usually give, but these are for specialized people. Plano photochromatic lenses, we don't cover those. Of course, circumcision and any related costs, and unless if it's necessitated by an accident. Cost of any illness, disease, injuries arising out of the piercing of the body, self-infliction, we don't. Diagnostic equipment. Now, this is very important for us. We of course, we encourage our clients to buy some of these machines, to have them, to have these with them at home. The glometers, the BP machines, it's very, very important that you have at least a personalized BP machine just to keep on checking on your pressure. We can't buy it for you. Expenses resulting from insured participating in extreme hazardous sports. Of course, this is not for us, but of course, yeah, there could be senior citizens who are participating in, some of these sports. I've talked about intentional self-injury. Now, we also don't do experimental treatment. This usually is done in the medical schools where probably they could be testing a new drug. So we can't cover any treatment that comes out of these experimental that are done. Contamination by radioactivity, nuclear fuel, no. So how do we sign up? Of course, you will select the package of your choice. Then you complete a form and you declare all the medical history. you declare everything. We really want to understand the risk that we will be dealing with. That's why it's very important that somebody declares everything on this medical application form. Then you submit it together with the supporting documents. Then we review within 3 working days, and then we give you an acceptance letter, and then you make the payments in the bank. The cover commences once we've confirmed and the premiums have been paid, and then that is when the waiting period also are effective. Somebody mentioned about the premium payment terms. They must be directed to, of course, Liberty Health. Their account numbers that we'll share. You can, of course, pay through a check. You can deposit directly to the bank. We do not receive cash. Okay. Then just lastly, Doctor, let me just quickly run us through the value proposition. Why you as a senior member, you should actually buy from Jubilee. Number one, we deal with telemedicine. Telemedicine is basically distribution of health-related services via electronic. We are doing this with Rocket Health, where you, at your comfort, we can come to your home and we treat you from there. Usually you contact them, they send you a doctor, they send you a technician, they take off your samples from home, they go back to the lab, test them, give you the results at your comfort, without you necessarily moving into the queues of the hospitals and everything. Number two, we also do what we call chronic illness management. With our care management team, we have a dedicated team that handles chronic illnesses. Usually we understand that seniors have these diseases. So we categorize you under the care management team, and we give you a care manager who will periodically be checking on you, checking on your drug refills. They will be giving member education. They'll be doing follow-ups and any other thing. We also have wellness programs. These usually are done for the organized groups like ours here at Purposeful Aging. We do screening camps free of charge, by the way. We can organize, meet up, have fun, but during the meetup, we are screening you. We are understanding the kind of risk that you could be having as a team, and then we categorize and we share feedback on how to improve on our health. It's very important. We do member education. It's very important for these wellness programs, and I'm really glad that speaking to people who are very organized, people who have the same mindset, people who are thinking alike, people who have a dream of really prolonging life together. So it's very easy. It's very easy. It's very easy. Of course, we also do drug delivery services of course, at your comfort of home. We have partnered with quite a number of pharmacies across Kampala and out of Kampala and the country. Any pharmacy that is on our network is able to deliver these drug services. Then we offer counseling services free of charge. Again, like I said, for those who are members, we understand that stress management is a big issue. So it's something that we also do as a value add free of charge. Then, of course, this is the big one, Jubilee being the biggest insurance company within East Africa. Your card that you acquire in Uganda can work in any of the East African countries. That is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. Very soon we'll be moving into Congo and Southern Sudan. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have a chat. I hope I've not been really fast. Now is the time we'll be taking up any questions from the team. Back to you, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Dickens. It's been a very, very detailed and easy to understand. It's very informative. And but in spite of all that, there's still some jargon I think we need to clear up, like a few questions in the chat room, and I would like to call upon Dr. Jane Kavuma to run us through the questions in the chat room. And for those who are able to raise their hands, please do. She will detail out all the questions and comments for the next 20 minutes. Dr. Jane, please.
Oh, I'm trying to come on. Now, there's something I've done here with me. My phone. I'm coming on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Dr. Jane, we can hear you.
All right, sorry about that. Let me get that chat. Something happened here while I was listening.
It's yes. In the meantime, Martha has put some announcements. We are always available on YouTube for follow-up. You can always get that YouTube, all the sessions from YouTube. To us.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, please, you can go ahead.
I'm back. Sorry about that, Misha. There's one question from BB, and it reads, "Hi, Charles Dickens. Could you please explain the big gap between the cost-sharing requirement for working adults and retired adults at Jubilee Medical Insurance?"
Thanks, Dr. Jane. The cost sharing, specifically, like I said earlier on, is because of the cost on consultation. You'll find that the senior citizens usually require to meet specialists, and some of these specialists are. Hello.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Most of these specialists are quite expensive, and because of the huge consultation fees, we request that we share the consultation fee between the client and the company. And it's not on every hospital that I mentioned. If you're very keen, I mentioned a few hospitals. Just a minute. A few hospitals, not all hospitals. Most of these hospitals, Nakasero Hospital, IHK, Case Hospital, Platinum Hospital, where majority of these specialists are, is when you can only pay the co-payment, but not all hospitals.
Okay.
I
hope you have answered. Then the next one is from RM. I don't understand the waiting period. Does it mean that I pay from joining membership without claiming for the said period, months or 2 years, without the said benefits?
Okay.
Could you please help her understand that?
Oh, okay.
But
now,
it was clear there, but help her or him.
All right. This is Ronnie Muzira. Now, waiting period, like I said, a waiting period is a period within which a client cannot claim, okay, for the specific, for that specific benefit or treatment, okay, unless if it is accidental. Now, why do we place waiting period? Usually, people could be buying insurance specifically because they want to benefit from it immediately. Now, to avoid such people, from, of course, doing such things, we place a waiting period. It's not that it is something to discourage you, but it's something that it's just for management purposes, especially for our side, so that we don't run into losses. You've just bought the card and immediately run into hospital. There are those target buyers that we are trying to avoid. Someone buys the card specifically because they want to get treatment from it immediately. I will give an example. I had one of the clients, I think that was about a few months ago. He went to Mengo Hospital for an eye surgery. So Mengo Hospital gave him a quotation of about 8 million shillings. But he did not have the 8 million shillings. So what the doctor told him there, please go to Jubilee, you buy the card, and then you come back and we do the treatment. So that one was a straight-on target buyer. He wanted to buy the cover because Mengo Hospital is expecting to do a surgery on his eye. So we told him, no, you will buy the cover. Number one, you'll have a waiting period before that, because it's non-accidental. It's not by accident. It is there. It is already pre-existing. That is number one. Number two, it is depending on the package you'll buy, there is up to a certain sub-limit. Okay? So this information is really, really needed for us to understand how medical insurance works. Yes, I've seen Ronnie's hand is up. Ronnie, could you go, please?
Yes. Maybe I may be talking from an ignorant background because I'm calling from outside Uganda, but I feel as if that is really penalizing. There are some ailments which are known to, like cancer. By the time it is diagnosed, it's sometimes up to 10 years. Now you tell us, and it is very aggressive. You tell somebody who has got that ailment, has joined your company to wait for 2 to 3 years. Is that really? And they are not young, they are in advanced age. That's your policy, but I'm just wondering that in some countries that would be not fair. It would jeopardize your business. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ronnie. It's a good comment. However, because of the costs involved in cancer treatment, I have just recently, I think 3 weeks ago, I lost an uncle, James Masiga, to cancer treatment. It's quite expensive. That's why we put this waiting period on cancer treatment. It's quite expensive because of the costs involved. And when you look at the premiums we're paying and the benefits we are giving, if we just opened it to, for instance, if you bought a bronze of 2.5 million shillings and we opened it to an inpatient of 20 million, you might blow this money even within less than a year. Yes, Dalson?
A question I would have is about these hospitals, the 30,000 that is put there. Isn't there a way that 30,000 can be incorporated and that amount is lost in some of the what? Because the elderly are usually inconvenienced to go to the hospital, and you have to ask, they have to carry that 30,000. It is really, it would be like a burden to them. I would.
Yes, Dalson.
Dalson. I had a suggestion.
Yes.
I was saying this 30,000 that the elderly carry go along to hospitals like you said Casey Clinic and the like. Is there a way that money can be incorporated in a way that it's not seen, it's not realized?
Okay,
because that
Dalson,
usually it.
Dalson, like I presented earlier on, I said, if you don't want to be inconvenienced with the carrying of the 30,000 each time you visit the hospital, we increase your premium, the inpatient and outpatient premium by only 10%. We only increase it by 10%, so you don't need to go with the 30,000 each time you go to hospital.
True, I understand that point. However, you could find an elder is willing to carry on a package, but is not willing to increase that 10%. But if that amount was incorporated in the program and it's not seen, I would think it would be advantageous. That was my opinion.
Okay, but like I said earlier, thank you for the question. Like I said earlier, if you don't want to be inconvenienced with the 30,000, we only increase your premium by only 10%.
Okay.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Mr. Dickens,
Right.
I think Dawson is expressing something that actually happens a lot, and it sort of gives the insurance sort of being like you are caring more about the money, which may be true or not, rather than the patient, because a patient presents themselves to a clinic or a hospital, and most likely this condition is going to be managed on an outpatient basis. And from the premium they paid, there are other entitlement, like for eye, for whatever, and yet they are pressed to top up on this single visit they've made, or maybe the first time they've made it, to top up with 30,000. Yet they are sure they are entitled to a lot more money. So maybe what she wants to say is there no way you could work out money being shared from like my outpatient slot and my eye slot, and I get covered? Because initially you attracted me to your company because you sort of discouraged the self insurance. I have paid for the premium. I know I'm not going to have to get money cash up front. And yet when I present to the hospital, I get that top up issue. Actually, this thing can be, you might be confronted by a top up which goes into even 300,000. Yet you walked in knowing I am an insurance, I am under this cover, and I don't work with cash.
Okay. Thanks, doctor. Thank you, doctor. Let me just explain this again. The co-payment, like I said earlier on, is specifically on the consultation, not the treatment. The consultations usually, especially for the specialists in these hospitals, is quite high. If you go to, for instance, Nakasero, and you're going to see, I don't know, high-end specialists for specific diseases, they are not less than 100,000 on consultation fee. So it's only that 100 that we share, not the treatment. Let's separate the treatment from the consultation fee. The consultation fee is what we do cost share with the client. I hope I've made myself clear on that. Yeah, thank you.
There is also another question. Is the premium monthly or yearly? If yearly, is there an option for paying in installments?
Oh, okay, thank you, doctor. Because medical insurance is a short-term insurance, usually it runs for 12 months, 1 year. So you're required to pay once. You don't pay monthly. You pay at inception, and you pay all the money at inception. And because it is a claim-based insurance, because you can pay your money today and tomorrow you get an accident and you require treatment of let's say 10 million, we require that you pay all the money at inception. If it is the 2.5 on bronze, we are required to pay all the 2.5 at a go. We don't pay in installments because of the claim basisness of the nature of medical insurance.
I think that's all I have from the question and answer here. Is there a hand up?
Thank you. Dalson's hand is still up.
Okay. You should answer as well.
Can you also clarify on this across treatment with the card from, like say I've gone to Kenya? Am I entitled to the full package as the one in Uganda? And two is for the categories which can be evacuated. It's only the evacuation that is covered, not the treatment.
All right, thanks, Doctor. If any of our clients visited Kenya for whatever reason, and you happen to fall sick, all you need to do is to contact us. Okay, on the cards, usually there are those numbers that we give for the call center. And then we get in touch with our counterparts in Kenya or the other side. Then they can share with you a service providers list, and you get the same treatment the way you would be at home in Uganda. That is how it works, because the card has been synchronized with the systems that are in Kenya and in Uganda. So it's one card that you can use. You don't need to get a different card when you're traveling.
And if I need a scan, which is not available here, or a lab examination?
Now, that is done on referral basis. For any treatment that cannot be carried out in Uganda, we handle it on referral basis in other hospitals. If for instance, we can't do a brain surgery here and it can only be done in Kenya, then we'll do a referral letter, or we will refer you to any of the hospitals that we're dealing with in those other countries.
There is also another question here from Beck Kamatovu. Hello, after filling in the form showing details of my health conditions, does the insurance carry out further investigation to certify the information?
Kindly say that again. I did not get that question.
After filling in the form showing the details of my health conditions, does the insurance company carry out further investigation to certify the information I've given you? That's from Becca Mato.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Now, what happens is, after you filling in the application form and declaring your medical history, it's very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, to declare your medical history. There are two things. Number one, in case you do not declare and you're put on cover for any treatment that you did not declare, that for instance, you have a pre-existing and you go to hospital to seek treatment for that particular disease, it might, sometimes it could be declined and you end up paying through your pocket. Now, what happens is, if you declare on your medical history, on the application form on all your medical history, what happens is we review the application form and we advise you, in case there is need for you to do another medical examination for us to understand the disease or the condition fully, then we will ask you to do a medical a medical examination. It happens, especially for this particular product. If your medical history, there is something that is not clear, or there's something that we would like to find out a little bit more before we take up cover, then we might tell you to please do an examination on this specific disease or anything that we would want to know. That's what happened.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Masig. Now, this is
Thank
my
you.
own comment as a senior. I should actually congratulate Jubilee Insurance for having coming up with this scheme for seniors 60 to 80. Some 4 years back, 5 years ago, I came back here from Southern Africa region. I had an insurance which stopped when I left that region. I looked around for any insurance which could give me an insurance cover, having had one for almost 30 years or more. Then I didn't get one. I'm so happy, and I understand yours has just opened 2 years, but at least it's something on offer which one could consider. Thank you very much for considering us, the senior citizens. I'm very happy about that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Doctor. You're welcome, Doctor. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jane Kadama, for taking us through the question and answer session. I would like to add on a comment from Nora. She says just senior pre-medical examination is compulsory, but full disclosure is at the client's benefit. Because once you do not disclose the same, any bill sent, and a bill is sent to the company of course, you won't be covered with such a pre-existing condition. I think this warning is very good. Thank you so much, Nora, for drawing our attention to this as we take care of the older adults. Let's encourage them to have the examinations, as we had Mr. Dickens saying. And when you have to be examined, please let every ailment you have be known before you take on the insurance. I think we have come to the end of this session. I would like to thank you, Angela.
I have a question.
Sorry?
Please.
Oh, there's a hand up.
Yes, please bear with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe it was said before some of us joined, but this cover does it have is the insurance 24/7, like for seeking permission for certain treatments, or can a member pay and claim? Because like some covers have that you can pay maybe your 20% because you're entitled to 80% by the insurance, or do you have such a thing? We are asking because some of us are in the process of transitioning back home, or for paying for our relatives.
Wow. Doctor, if I could go, if I could answer Ronnie. Thanks,
You're
Ronnie, for your
welcome.
question. Yeah. I think it's something that I may have skipped when it comes to reimbursements. Usually insurance, we don't want to, we usually want to deal away with reimbursements because of the nature because of what it had costed us in the earlier years. We realized that most people were conniving with most of the hospitals to defraud insurance companies when it comes to reimbursements. Now we have a service providers list, which I think I'll be sharing you at a later time. Those hospitals are the ones that you go to at any time. It works 24/7. these hospitals also work 24/7. Sickness does not have a specific time that you fall sick. Anytime that you're sick and you have a card, please go to the hospital. Now, reimbursements can only happen if, one, there has been an emergency case. It has to be an emergency case and it has to be reported. Two, we can only allow a reimbursement in a situation where where you are in an area where where we do not have a service provider. So we can allow you to seek treatment from any hospital and then we reimburse. But if you're within Kampala, where we have 100 of hospitals, we don't expect you to seek treatment from anywhere else, in any hospital that is off the hospital service provider list, and you want us to reimburse you. That cannot happen. It can only happen in those two scenarios: when it's an emergency or you're in an area that does not have our service providers in it. I hope, Ronnie, I've been able to answer you correctly.
Ronnie, with that answer, I would like to thank everybody who has come. I'd like to thank all of you who have made various contributions. Many have appreciated that Jubilee. It was very good of you to start the J Senior. And we've been, I think, very well guided in our choice of insurance. Although I'll have to put a disclaimer that we did not choose Jubilee because of trying to persuade all of you to join Jubilee, but it's because of that J Senior. As Dr. Kadama has said, many seniors have had this challenge. They migrate back home and they're above 60 years and no one can listen to, can I pay for an insurance with you? So Jubilee, we are very, very grateful. Angela and Mr. Dickens, thank you so much. We've been made a lot wiser because there were those other benefits you do provide, taking medicines to the seniors, which we were not aware of. Thank you so much for the enlightenment we've had. I think people who were still sending questions, will have to answer them directly to you. And just to note, from Purposeful Aging team, this session will be available on YouTube, maybe about 2 or 3 days after now. Please always check on YouTube and share with other seniors so that we avoid this situation of buying the card, as it was put, in the case of an emergency. And we are also always available at the last Saturday of the month at 10 o'clock. Next Saturday session will be on 31st of September. And we shall be going through, that will be like 28th of September. We shall have a senior architect taking us through those changes which we need to do in our houses, in our living spaces, to help us age purposefully. I want to say bye to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us, and bye.
Bye.
Can